Today, the podcast is brought to you by USG Canada. My boy Howie Lee, he makes some of the best gear in boxing. It's USG Canada. You can hit him up at howie@usgcanada.com and place an order. We got a website coming soon, right?
Yeah, we're working on that. It'll be easier to buy stuff from USG Canada.
And we have a very special glove that's going to be coming out that I designed.
What?
Yeah. Strictly a sparring glove. 16 and 18 ounces. We'll be releasing that here probably in the next month or two, but make sure you guys check that out. And when you guys make a purchase, you could use the promo code The Final Shot and save some money. Who else we got, Derek?
We got TKO Beards.
TKO Beards. The only beard products I put in my beard, TKOLA. Well, they call it TKOLA. I don't know why I fucking say it like an asshole, but it's very nice. It smells like those fucking cola gummies. Nice. They got a new scent too.
Yes, they do. Brand new. You're gonna make me say it, are you?
TKO.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I don't know how to do it, but yeah, it's similar to what Tanner was doing. Scent, described as musky and a woodsy smell. Their top seller right now, and you can get that directly off the website. TKO Beards. You know the promo code. Is it
Final Shot?
Yeah.
Save some money on your purchase. Now, I did see on the website that they have a different beard wash too. I want it. It's the TKOLA one.
Is it?
Yeah, this is the tranquil one. I like it, but I want to smell like those things.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So,
well, just like you, I'm gonna hit up Jason.
There's a new product too. It's a leave-in conditioner.
Wow, you know this stuff.
Fucking on it. Speaking of our other sponsor, it's On It. If you're not on it, get on it at onit.com/TFS podcast and save 10%. I do have some On It products. They sent me some creatine. Right here. I like the creatine. It's very nice. I think everybody, especially if you're a fucking vegan, you should take creatine.
There we go.
You get creatine from meat, man. Eat meat, don't be a bitch. Again, it's onit.com/TFS podcast. Who else we got?
We're still pushing our friends over in Edmonton, the Clinch Fight Shop, who just sent us some new promo gear too as well.
Oh, yeah. T-shirts, a
couple T-shirts, but they just got the new Canelo Alvarez No Boxing No Life snapback hats in. So different colors that you haven't seen before. Again, that's Clinch Shop.
Clinch Fight Shop.
Yeah.
Use the promo code The Bad Guy on checkout and you'll save some money on your purchase. We're also brought to you by Sovereign Extracts, the king of clear. Get your fucking weed tips and your CBD tips all from Sovereign Extracts. What else? They got everything over there.
Yeah, tinctures, the waxing thing.
The shatter,
yeah.
The wax, you name it, they got it over at Sovereign Extracts. We are going to have a place where you can purchase that too in the next coming months on the website that we're going to be building, and we'll be able to give you guys a promo code, which will be awesome because the Final Shot podcast, Sovereign Extracts, and USG Canada have now officially partnered up. So if you get Fight Gear, you get my fucking logo on it too, and then you get to come on the podcast and talk shit with me. Who else we got?
That kind of wraps it up. That's all I got on my list. If you
sure?
I'm gonna miss
like
one.
We're missing something.
I know, and we're gonna get in trouble for it. But
I don't know. I'm stumped.
Yeah, we got.
Who else have we talked about? Fucking Buckle Down Productions.
I'm sure we've lost all our sponsorships.
Buckle Down Apparel. Guys, go over, check them out on the Instagrams. There's a link in the bio. It'll take you to their website. Use the promo code BCB10 and save some money on your purchase. And that also helps support our buddy Brian Caldwell get to his Olympic dreams, which he's actually over in Montreal trying to achieve right now. He's in a 2-week fight camp with them, and then they make their selection on who will be going to represent Canada in the 2020 Olympics. Hopefully, that giant fucking nerd Brian Caldwell gets to go to the Olympics, because this is what he's been working for the last, I don't even know how many years. He's 30 as fuck. So let's get him. Let's get him to the Olympics, guys. What else?
It. Back to the podcast.
You're higher than Giraffe Pussy.
No,
You're smoking the fucking Sovereign Extracts.
No.
Coming on
Allegedly.
the podcast.
Allegedly. No.
Let's just get to the podcast. We got Manny Montreal. All right. Welcome back to the Final Shot Podcast. Today on the show, well, yesterday we had a guest stand us up, Tyson Cave, motherfucker. So we called in the big guns, Manny Montreal from Quebec. I don't even know what to call you anymore. We're not the gonzo journalist. What are we doing?
I am social media and media consultant.
Oh,
we'll go with that.
That's a big one.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll eventually come up with a proper title. Shout out to Tyson Cave. I guess there's just too many interviews coming his way. He shouldn't miss out on anything. You know. Here's hoping he makes up for it. You know, I hope he realizes he missed out on an opportunity here, because you're definitely got something good going on here.
Well, thank you. I didn't mean to chuck any shade at Tyson. I like Tyson, but
I love him too. I'm just ribbing him so that he comes on the frickin' show. You definitely need him. He's a character.
Yeah.
Right, and I could see it drawing some views, and then, like I said, I don't think they're all beating down his door.
Probably not. We've had him on once before, and the show went over really well. And we wanted to have him back on after he won his international title. I don't know what he's got going on in life, or something could have come up last night. Who knows?
Exactly. So I'm sure he'll be on the show, but just in case, a little added pressure from me.
Yeah. Come on, Tyson, fucker. So recently, you've been kind of globetrotting a little bit.
Yeah, I've been lucky, man. I've been lucky. Going into boxing as like the thing I wanted to do with my life, right? And supporting these fighters has taken a really, personal turn, because I've become friends with a lot of these guys, and that has even given me more opportunities than sponsors or guys with businesses or anybody else. The people that have put me on and supported me the most are the fighters. And I think there's in our business, I don't think there's any other mark of respect or understanding that you actually know what the fuck you're talking about when the fighters give you some dap. So I'm a very fortunate dude.
You were over, where was it, New York City with Eves?
Yeah, so that was Eve and Punch and Grace that made that happen for me. They wanted me there. I had a unique perspective on Ulysses since, for a while now, and I've always contributed to just the general media talk when it comes to him, and pushing the fact that I still believe, even after recent events, that he's quite possibly Canada's best boxer. So, along, it helps, for me to be going to these places, because I keep saying it, and it's because I believe it, you know what I mean? So I do get these things because of that.
And then you were just most recently in Cuba.
Yeah, that's actually just luck at a draw. Works out that I'm unemployed, and Eves kind of made a last-minute quick decision that he was going to be taken off, and then, he called pretty much, his usual roster, and everyone was busy and couldn't go, and he really wanted to go, and he knows my situation. He knows I'm unemployed, and, we have developed a friendship. I would say, obviously, the trip definitely cemented things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But, he considered me, and I was more than happy to go. I just had a few things to take care of, and, it was one hell of a trip. But
Manny just explained that whole situation. It sounded like he went with a chick, because he's, putting in work. And
well, here's the thing. He was down there. He doesn't drink alcohol. Mm-hmm. So he was down there just working out. You know what I mean? So I really didn't spend the whole day with him. It was just because the trip basically, he was paying for two people anyway.
Okay.
You get what I'm trying to say?
You got to drink some margaritas on the beach, see some cool cars, some cool sights.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And look, all I had to do was, hang out, chill, basically, because he was in the gym. He was getting massages. He was going for runs. He was really well taken care of in this resort. So, it was basically I was his go to a restaurant and eat buddy, and, I'll see you later. I'll be at the beach. And then I'd go down to the beach and just pretty much drink up a storm. I read like 2 books. I got a lot of tourism done, you know what I mean? But he was down there to like recharge his batteries and train. The dude was on a diet while he was down there, so he couldn't even partake in all the crazy food too. So
Cuba is an interesting place because for a very long time they wouldn't ship new cars over there. So
yeah,
they're stuck with like a lot of these badass cars from the 50s and the 60s. And if anybody wants to go and see some cool old cars, Cuba's the place to go.
look, we made friends with a driver down there. Here's the thing, right? If you give me a little bit of a bankroll, right, by the end of the week, everybody in the town will know me. So basically, I had my own driver. He hung out with us and whatnot, and he was a really cool dude. We did a tour with him and whatnot. And 56 Ford with a Toyota engine, Toyota brakes, Toyota air conditioning. Jeez. These guys are the masters of improvising. Like.
Well, you got these old cars over there. The motors go before the bodies go on them, especially in that climate.
Dude, you know what? I didn't realize what it was doing to my body until I got back here.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I got back here, and the next morning I woke up. I was like, "Oh fuck, it's true. My knees hurt, and my feet hurt. I forgot about that." It's like the whole time I was down there, I didn't have any bone issues, which I have here. I guess it's the humidity, but there's a constant breeze. You're on a peninsula. I'm on an island. You know what I mean? Even if it's 29 degrees out, you're not cooking. There's a constant breeze. So just quite honestly, like weather-wise, it was one of the best vacations I've ever been on.
That's cool. Let's get into some boxing.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've talked since Steve Claggett has signed with Eye of the Tiger Management.
I'm not sure either, but either way, let's talk about it. Fucking fantastic move. Camilla Stefan, definitely always the one to make bold moves. And if there was anyone that you would hang your hat on, it would be Steve Claggett. Hell, if I had a promotion, I would fucking sign him up too.
Yeah.
He's a guaranteed draw. He performs, you know what I mean? Like every fight he's had, even his losses, were fucking great fights. You know what I mean? No matter what, the guy will put on and put up fucking fantastic work. The consistency alone is well worth it,
100%. Steve's not on top of that, he's an amazing person. So
I oddly enough, we've gone back and forth now, and we message each other, and he's such a good dude. You know what I mean? Which just speaks volumes, because considering the amount of talent this guy has, he could be an arrogant prick.
Yeah. Get away with it.
Yeah, because I mean, what are you really gonna say? You know what I mean? But the truth is, he's just a really humble dude, and I think if somebody were to be an example, or if you were to look up Canadian boxing in the dictionary, his face would definitely be there. Just work ethic on the guy is just insane. It's inspiring even. I can't wait to hear the fighters in the future talking about how Steve Claggett inspired them.
Hey, he's a cool guy. We'll shift our focus over to another, not a Tiger anymore. I just want to know if you have any insight on this. We were in talks with having Kim Clavel come on the podcast, and then all of a sudden she's up and she's gone from Eye of the Tiger Management.
Yeah, it's a sticky situation. You see, part of the reason I was there with Eve, it was fate that I was with him, because he got mentioned in that whole ordeal too.
Oh.
And it was very strange stuff, like he went to more or less clear his head on this vacation, right? Because he needs to make some changes and whatnot, and he had been in discussions with Camille, but it didn't go any further than that. And as his friend and a guy that knows his boxing, obviously we talked about stuff, and you know what I mean? We're all on the same page, and he knows the way he's going to move. But while we were down there, we get contacted by like the newspapers, and like they don't call him unless there's something, right?
Yeah.
And then sure enough, Camille called him, and what more or less happened with Kim, his name got dragged into the conversation. So to go to Kim, she was actually supposed to renegotiate things with Camille for her contract. And in the past, Camille had issues with her first coach, which would be Stéphane Larouche.
Yep.
Now, I'll go one step further, because any article you'll Google will tell you he had issues with him, but they won't tell you what the issues are. The issue is that at the time, Larouche had attempted to take a few of his Kazakh fighters away from him and sign them to another promoter. Camilla Stefan, a man of integrity in my opinion, and who's very fierce on his loyalty, didn't appreciate the attempts. Now, maybe LaRouche was doing it for the benefit of his fighter, but if you look at the overall history with Stefan and some of his fighters, this is not uncommon. He's moved guys around and pulled surprises on other promoters before. Mm-hmm. So, he's a person that moves from side to side instead of a straight direction, so to speak. So, I know Camille was approaching him with a grain of salt and whatnot, but when that happened, he just cut all ties, right?
Yeah.
And he moved most of his guys over to Mark Ramsey. Mm-hmm. Now, a few of the guys that were more particular, he made concessions and he brought in some Russian coaches. So there's a couple of the guys now that have full-on Russian coaches. As weird as it sounds, it all turned out for the better, because the Russian coaches are very fucking good. And the guys they've taken on have gotten sharper. And the guys that were moved over to Ramsey ended up, really getting used to that whole system over there too. So everybody, more or less, except for LaRouche in that situation, walked out okay. So now LaRouche was Kim's original coach. And when that all happened, obviously, she lost him. Mm-hmm. Now, in trying to keep her happy, he allowed her to build her own team, which consisted of an all-girl coaching staff.
Yep.
Including longtime girlfriend, I'm not sure if it's wife or longtime girlfriend, but connected to Stéphane Larouche as head coach.
Okay. Now you're talking
her coaching staff.
Kim's girlfriend?
Kim's coaching staff.
Yeah.
The main coach, who's a hell of a coach. She's great. She, didn't have pros. She had amateurs before Kim. And she's Stéphane Larouche's girlfriend or longtime girlfriend or wife. I don't know what the exact term for it is. I don't want to make the guy married if he's not. But the point is, there was still a LaRouche connection. She was still training at the very same gym. It was a move to appease the situation, right? So Camille was fine with it, and they were renegotiating. However, for her, it seemed to be something she wanted to go back on, and if she knew that if she wanted to continue with Stefan, that she would have to end her relationship with Ida Tiger. The other thing I want to dispel is that they were immediately saying that she has signed to Groupe Yvon Michel.
Oh, God.
Here's the thing. I don't think... It's already come out. She's already said that she's a free agent, so she hasn't signed anything with him. And the main reason why is because Camille Stefan still has first right of refusal.
Oh.
Yeah, so although this is pretty much said and done, and I don't think Camille's gonna want her back because he's kind of a cut and dry guy. He didn't like the move, and that's the way it's gonna end.
Yeah.
He could still fuck around with things and just put down a bigger offer and not make her fight. Depending how vindictive, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, it's not like he's giving it up that easy. You get what I'm saying? She still has some stuff to do. That being said, her being a free agent, what the good silver lining in that is that she's not directly with Groupe Yvon Michel, so it's not like she moving over to the competitor, so to speak.
Yeah.
As a fight fan, right, and removing politics aside from it, the hope is now that maybe a big American promoter or maybe Matchroom or somebody along those lines, because she's a hell of a boxer. That's the worst fucking part about all of this, that she's a hell of a boxer in an interesting division, and she can definitely put work together. I mean, Ida Tiger put her on like crazy last year. I believe she had 6 or 7 fights.
Yeah.
Her signing to Groupe Yvon Michel, there would be several issues with that. including her maybe not fighting more than twice a year. You know what I mean? So, yeah, okay, the paycheck's bigger, but, you're only getting 2 of them.
Yeah, the paycheck's got to clear, though.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. And then the last thing is he still has to go into arbitration for basically his license being suspended.
Yeah.
Now, when he talks about it, he makes it sound like he just has a meeting to go to, but when you read about it, you realize that it's being held at the courthouse and there's lawyers involved. So it's not just a meeting over coffee here. He has to defend his case. Yvon Michel's got 9 lives. Slippery than a.
Yeah, he's a greasy cat, that motherfucker. I don't know how he stays afloat, but he pulls it off.
Listen, it's the world of boxing, okay? So he's a very slick individual. If anyone could pull off somehow still maintaining their license and then putting on another show after something like this, it would be him.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know how, but again, like I pointed out, he's done a few things a few times where I'm like, it's impossible. He's not going to be able to pull it off. And then, sure enough, he does.
Oh, he's the white Don King.
He's the Canadian Don King, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, Don King still has fighters out there, so here's hoping Yvon Michel maybe, rides off into the sunset at some point. I was kind of hoping, there was rumors out there that Jean Pascal would buy out his company, but, I mean, Jean Pascal already has his promotion, and what are you buying out? Right?
Buying the name so you can bury it, that's about it.
Well, that's the thing. Jean Pascal's name, if anything, I would have to admit, is more worldwide known than Jim. I mean, if you can't really Google it, because then every fucking gym in the world's gonna pop up. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But Jean Pascal, boom, it'll be right there. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll keep you posted if anything. But yeah.
Let's talk about Jean Pascal a little bit because he's had a resurgence. He's had a couple amazing fights. But there was a video that came out where he had a bag of cash and 50 Cent was involved in it. I didn't quite understand it. I thought it was funny, but was that legit?
Okay, so let me explain that. So again, this is related to Kim Clavel because she went in training camp with him in Puerto Rico for that fight.
Okay.
And his coach is Stéphane LaRouche.
Oh, okay.
So Stéphane LaRouche is accredited for reinvigorating Jean Pascal. If anything, I think all he did was make Jean Pascal revert to his younger self, and then mix in a little bit of his old school boxing that he's picked up. So there's a little Roy Jones and Jean Pascal going on, and that's Stéphane LaRouche. I have to give him that. He's been able to keep this guy's career alive and doing well again. As far as the 50 Cent thing, they are partners in a cognac company. If you go look at 50 Cent's videos, you go look at Jean Pascal's videos, they're drinking a particular, I forget the name of it now because I wasn't expecting this question, but there's a particular bottle of cognac there. It's named after something related to Haiti. There's a few investors involved. 50 Cent known for bringing vitamin water and then making some big money on that. So, it was a related company like that where there's a few rappers, I believe in a couple NBA guys, and Jean Pascal, who are owners of this cognac company. So all those Instagram posts and whatnot, it's all advertising for this.
Okay.
So was the money real?
Maybe.
I mean, 50's the king of doing stunts like that on social media. So them going back and forth or acting like they got beef is all part of the show.
Now, I got a kick out of it. I thought it was entertaining. Now I'm trying to find this cognac company now, but I can't find it on Instagram. Maybe he got out.
No, well, look.
What is it? So the producer Derek's looking for it.
I got that crème de rue. It's a French name.
Yeah, it's related to Haiti. So like, there's a couple of NBA guys involved. They're Haitian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't know why 50's got this, but the point is they got involved. Maybe they paid 50 something and he doesn't own any of it, but look, a little while ago he was pushing seeking.com, which is it's a sugar daddy website. So If you look at the fight that he won the title on, that he points to it on his shirt.
Yeah.
It's seeking.com.
Wow.
So if you type in Jean Pascal, if you type in cognac Jean Pascal on Google.
Yeah, for those who are listening, we'll just power through this.
Yeah, I'm
He's hung up on it.
I'm drawn to it for some reason. I don't know why.
There's a few things that pop up. If you all you got to do is Google cognac and Jean Pascal. I don't know the name of it. It's
Jean Filou. That's what's coming up. But fuck it, I don't even care anymore. I'm over it. I'm
anyway,
over
no
it.
big deal.
Jean Pascal, I can't even find your cognac online, so it obviously sucks.
But listen, he's got a couple ventures, so I don't know if it was his venture, like I said, but like whatever, that's what they were pushing.
Oh well, fuck it. It was entertaining. I didn't know it was about cognac, so it might be a fail in the pushing of the booze, but a win in the entertaining aspect of it. The other person I've been hearing rumors about leaving is Simon Keane for some reason again. There was a rumor about a year and a half ago circulating that he was going to take off, and then I just heard it again the other day, or I don't believe it because he's kind of got it made in the shade over there at Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah, 100%. It's not just that. You know, Estefan's a really involved promoter, you know, and the guy does have a day job. That's what's crazy. So, you know, he puts in like 20-hour days. And I say that because I know a few fighters, and he calls them direct, like on the regular.
Okay.
Like, I think he talks to his fighters more often than I talk to my friends. Yeah, no, he checks in on everybody. Are you good? This and that. And Simon's one of those guys that he's been with early on, and I would go as far as saying that they are friends.
Okay.
More, and not just business partners, that like that there's a friendship involved. Like, He got behind Simon early on, and even after Simon's loss, he doubled down on it, and you know what I mean? So, no, I would sincerely doubt that. And even then, I don't know who else would have as much faith as Camilla Stefan does.
I don't know either. It would be a bad move on Simon's behalf, especially with that haircut.
I like the mullet. Good for him. Good for him.
I actually
You know what?
enjoy it. It brings a little bit of flavor to the guy because he's fairly quiet.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you know French, he's not that quiet.
I don't know French, so
Well, that's the thing. You get what I'm saying? But like, he's an interesting cat. He's definitely an interesting cat.
the only thing he's ever said to me is he called me a slut a couple times, and that was it. I'm guessing that's a bad thing in French.
Well, it's yeah, I guess. I don't know who handles his social media, if he does it himself, you know, but he's not crazy social media guy, so I don't see him writing to everybody. Just, you know, consider it a badge of honor that he actually fucking wrote to you.
He's done it a couple times, but I've also hit him with a barrage of insulting memes and a lot of shit talk on podcasts. So I had it coming. I don't hold it against him.
No, but I mean, in retrospect, you did make certain things happen. You know, it did help. So
Yeah. Well, I honestly haven't had a conversation with the guy to say whether I like him or I don't, or I dislike him. I enjoy watching him get into the ring.
listen, his last fight was maybe one of his best fights, and he was injured.
Which one was
If
his
you
last?
at the Bell Center. He had that big Russian dude.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the fucked up part. He like had a fucking knot in his neck. He tweaked his fucking neck in sparring. Like a guy punched him in the neck.
Oh.
So he couldn't turn his head completely, right? So if you watch that fight, he looks a little more stiff than usual.
Yeah.
That's why. And I mean, considering that he went through that and the performance he put down, it made the performance a little bit better.
It's a good fight. It was entertaining. It's fun to watch.
Well, you'll know the guy will push through something very fucking painful and put down a fight. You know what I mean? So at least, you know, you'll get your money's worth with him. That's for darn sure.
The one thing you can't knock Simon for is you can't say that he doesn't have heart. He took the loss to Carmen, and it was a bad knockout. I don't care what anybody says. He got knocked dead. Picked himself up, brushed himself off, went back and won the second one.
And look, even the way he handled winning against Braidwood, he could have went really, really, hard on it.
I was fucking waiting for it.
he could have went exactly, you know what I mean? And he didn't.
No.
So
respectable.
I got to give it to him. Yeah, but he understood what was going on there too, you know what I mean? Because he, like it or not, right? Even if Adam lost, Adam still clipped him with one or two. So he knows what Adam's got inside of him. So the respect, that's why the respect's a little easier to find in that sport, right?
Yeah. Well, you're getting punched in the face. It hurts.
Yeah, so somewhere along the lines, he knows, it could have been him just as easily as it was Adam losing that night.
Yeah, very true. We have an event coming up this weekend in Quebec. Where the hell is it? Casino de Montreal? Is that where it is?
Correct. Sold out.
And you're going to be there?
Absolutely.
Do you have the fight card pulled up in front of you? Because I can't read any of these names. Okay, perfect. Let's start at the bottom.
Let me run through it for you. Okay. So, making his pro debut, young welterweight, Thomas Chabot. If you don't know the name, that's okay, but you're more than likely going to want to look into him after this fight. Standout amateur, was getting dicked around with the amateur game and trying to go to 2020. There's a really good crop of welterweights this year. And, politics, like I said, in that amateur game too. He kind of got fed up with it. The opportunity came along, so he's going to be making his pro debut on this card. I've seen him fight a couple times as an amateur. It's a whole different ball of wax, but I do think the kid's got the style. He's not as much of a point fighter, and I think he's going to be a good conversion over to the pro game. He's fighting a guy who's 0-1-1, so it's basically a guy on his third tryout and who's desperately looking for a win. I mean, he started off with a loss, then he got a draw. If he's getting better, then, consensus means he's hoping to get a win. Mm-hmm. And, it's the appropriate fight for a guy making his pro debut.
Yeah, it works.
So, yeah, they're more than likely going to open up the show. Then after that, there's two other young bucks on this. Heavyweight Adam. They call him the Kung Fu Panda, but I think they're going to have to change that nickname. Adam Dijkska. Now,
I've heard of this guy.
He's an MMA fighter. He was with PKO, but PKO fell apart. That was the MMA organization out here, and he was looking for work. And his first pro fight was actually with Groupe Yvon Michel. Mm-hmm. But their license fell through, as you know, and they were supposed to have a show at the casino. And whoever his management is, they did a hell of a job because they were able to convince Camille Stefan to give a shot to another heavyweight. Physically speaking, he's not the biggest guy. I would put him on the Chris Norrad scale.
Okay.
He's a very similar. I would say he's like Chris Norrad 2.0.
Okay.
So he's a little more slick with his stuff. He reminds me of the big guy that everyone was saying knocked out Joshua. I'm forgetting his name right now. Kid from Philly.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Nonetheless, he's an interesting cat, and if he shows up and does work here, he could maybe turn this into a few more fights with Eye the Tiger. We'll see.
I've heard him talking about Adam Braidwood too, so be careful what you wish. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna ask him about that. I'll talk to him. I'll ask him about that. I didn't know.
Be careful what you wish for, young man. That's all I'll say.
He shouldn't be using the boogeyman's name. That's I'm gonna correct him. We're gonna talk.
Thank you.
I'll make sure to talk to him. Super bantamweight on female boxing. Martine Valliere-Bisson. Hell of a boxer. She had her pro debut at the Bell Center just a little bit before Christmas. You know what? With the recent departure of Kim Clavel, I think that you're going to start hearing a lot more about Martine Bisson. Definitely super talented. As an amateur, I really enjoyed watching her fight, and her first fight as a pro was just exactly what you would want to see. So, she's going to have a nice 4-rounder, get her second fight under her belt. Also on there, super welterweight, Jordan Django Baumir. You know what? Really entertaining guy. I would say Quebec's version of Blair de Flair Cobb. If they put an opportunity to down in front of him, he'll take it. He actually earned his spot with Ida Tiger after fighting Stephen Butler.
Oh.
Yeah, and he went up in weight for that because he's naturally a super welterweight, right? So he did the money he did the fight for the money, that is, because at the time he was with Rixa and Grant Brothers, and that kind of fell apart. So he took this fight with Steven at a different weight, but just the promo, the work the kid put in, Ida Tiger got interested, and they put him on too.
Cool, I like that.
Listen, there's a lot of stories like that. You know what I mean? There's a reason he's got 35 fighters. Part of it's the way he treats people. Super middleweight Vincent Vendetta Thibault, exciting fighter. He's going to be making his 10th fight. He's fighting a guy who's had 19 pro fights, so just about double as much work in the ring as he had. The guy's 10-7-2. If you've ever seen me talk about boxing, you got to watch out for the guys with draws. That's a clear indication that the dude can be a motherfucker. Depending on how he shows up, you never know with a guy like that. A guy that's 10-7-2 might not become world champion, but he's definitely not just there for a paycheck. Also on there, this is actually an exciting fight. Not a lot of people know about it, but hopefully afterwards they'll be talking about it. Middleweight Clovis Drolet. He's going to be fighting, I can't say this dude's first name, it's Mpa Kalunga. Not Oompa Loompa. Mpa Kalunga.
I'm looking at it right now. I don't know how you got that from that, but that's fine.
What? It's Mpunda? I'm dyslexic, bro. I'm having a hard time.
I'm an idiot,
Kalunga.
and I'm having a hard
I don't
time.
know it either. It just sounds funny.
Okay.
Mponda Kalunga. Kalunga.
Like the M's almost silent, so there you go. Ponda.
Yeah.
So it's Mponda Kalunga. Anyways, he's from Egypt. He's a Canadian. His originally birthplace was Egypt. 30-year-old. He's 7-2. They were impressed with his last 2 fights. That's basically what it comes down to. He fought in Brampton, Ontario, and the people that watched him fight saw a definite improvement. Because he started off in 2013, and then didn't fight again until 2018.
Oof.
You know what I mean? So I don't know what was going on in his life, but he had fought a few fights in the States, and then when he came over to Canada, he slowly got the wheels going again in 2018. So, a guy like that, maybe he missed out on an opportunity at one point, but who knows? He's 5'11", and, there isn't really a knockout ratio, but like I said, it's his last 2 performances that really got people intrigued. And, he seems to have a pretty good following because there's a few people in his world talking about the fight. Hold on a sec here. Fuck. I just fucked something up here.
The next fight's the only one I can pronounce on the whole card.
Go ahead.
The next fight's Artur Zadinov versus Cesar Herman Reynosos.
Okay, so you're a fan of Arthur, having seen him fight in your neighborhood.
I like that kid. He's good.
Listen, he checks all the boxes. The way he smiles at the press and he shakes hands and he's so polite makes me think of a young hockey player that's come here from another country. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's just happy for the opportunity and his work ethic. Yeah, he's got a second to none. His work ethic's really interesting.
He's intelligent too. He speaks different languages. He's picked up the English language pretty good.
And he's even doing some good things for the kids back home in his original home. So, light heavyweight division's going to be opening up in a couple years. Right now, the top tier of guys are all, over 30 years old. So a young buck like this, I think he's probably on my list of top 5 guys that's probably going to get co-signed by Golden Boy or Top Rank or something along those lines. Camille's going to be able to shop this kid around in a very short period of time, that's for sure. The guy he's fighting, actually, fucking batteries on my mouse are dying. We've actually seen him before. He fought Artyom Avidiazin and Nurzat Sabirov before.
I know Nurzat. The other one I don't.
Artyom is another Russian fighter that Eye of the Tiger signed. Now, he was TKO'd by both guys, okay? And all his other fights have been in Argentina. Now, if you know any Argentinians, as far as boxing goes, they're either tough as shit or walks in the park. And this guy, although he got TKO'd, he was not a walk in the park.
4 draws.
4 draws. Again, you get where I'm going with this. I think conditioning's been an issue for him. He's 33 years old. But he's definitely one of those guys. He's gotten up off the ground off of a body shot that I know a few Mexican fighters would have just taken the count and gone home with the check. And he went out, and when he, after that happened, he got knocked out. But he's that type of cat. If I'm gonna lose, I'm losing by knockout. And so he goes full tilt. I don't think the power's there anymore. But they call him, his nickname's the Savage. So that should give you an idea what he fights like.
He's a fucking animal.
Yeah. So, not that I'm scared for Arthur, because like I said, Arthur's just a fucking, he's a blue chip fighter. He's just not, aged enough yet. You know what I mean? So in a couple of years, he's definitely going to be something huge. Main event. Beautiful fight. Now, it was supposed to be for some titles. He was going to be defending his titles and knocking off some defensives of his titles. Because if you want to retain, you have to defend.
Yeah.
No fault is of his own. 2 opponents in a row dropped out for him. They were lucky enough, since aforementioned Steve the Dragon Claggett had to bow out with a broken thumb, they were lucky enough to be able to secure his opponent as a backup, and sure enough, they're going to be using him now. Now, if you
this
guys
guy's a tough dude, though. This guy's a tough dude.
You guys talked about him when we all thought Claggett was going to be fighting.
Yeah.
And you talked about him pretty much well enough to make everyone understand the guy's not a walk in the park. I like the idea of using Cleggett's opponent, so to speak.
Yeah,
I'm not averse to a guy like Batir Jukambayev, where there's whispers of him going on the world stage next. I'm not adverse to, before he gets to that step, maybe seeing if he could test his mettle with the Dragon. Listen, if you want to go to the world stage, you got to prove to me you can fucking handle the Dragon. If you can't handle the Dragon, we're going back to square one. You're going back to the drawing board.
You're switching to southpaw. That's it.
Yeah, basically.
Listen, guys, if you're going to tune in for the main event, do not sleep on Ricardo Lara. He gave my man Tony Lewis a good run for his money. The Claggett fight was going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. And fuck, he was so ready to. And what a downer for him. Like my heart broke for him there. But luckily for the first time in a long time, he's with a good team. Like I know of the interaction that went down between them. It was something along the lines of, "Don't worry about it. We got you. What do you need?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So happy for him in that sense.
I was sent a video today that Camille Estevan did in the press, and he was saying how much he loves Steve Claggett, and they got his back, and they can't wait for him to come back, and they're going to get him the world title shot, and he's going to be ready for it. And you know what? That's what this fucking guy needs.
Who knows what this kid could have accomplished a few years earlier if he would have had a bit more backing.
Well,
It's the sad state of our game. This is why I yell at the top of my lungs about the guys that I think can actually do it. Cleggett's definitely a perfect example that just he's world class. It's just the world needs to find out about him.
Yeah, Canada knows. We need everybody else to figure it out. There was the fight that he lost that I believe he won that fight. And I can't remember the fucking guy's name now. God damn it. Big name. You know him. Not Ulysses. God damn it. It was about 5 years ago he fought him. Oh, shit. I can't remember his name. But had he won that fight, it would have projected him into a world ranking area. And I don't know if that time of his career he was ready for it.
Well, look, you got to take into account. I don't know if I got permission to say this, but fuck it. Camilo Stefan, puts his guys on top of, securing these decent sized purses for them, also puts them on the payroll for expenses and whatnot. So if a guy needs a few bucks for training or sparring, he's definitely approachable. You can call him and, he understands it's an investment.
Yeah.
Having that type of partnership can secure you a better training camp and sparring partners. You know what I mean? And I think in the past, there's obviously been issues with him being able to get the best possible workout, the best possible training, not having life's issues like having to pay the rent and shit like that being at the forefront.
Yeah.
If I'm right, you're talking about Danny O'Connor.
No, Chris Van Eerden.
Fuck Chris. Look, I say that because the dude's either retired or borderline retiring.
He's done now, I think.
He did fight Danny O'Connor though, and that would be a fight I would like him to get back.
Yes,
that's with Irish promoter, the band, Dropkick Murphys.
Yeah, Dropkick Murphys. He had Danny O'Connor on the canvas in round 7.
Yeah, so that would definitely be the fight I'd want him to get back on, if anything. That fight with Metzer Germain too. I mean,
it was good. It was fun to watch. I'd watch it again.
Here's the thing, right? At that weight, Steve Clegette's a nightmare for anyone.
Yeah.
Anyone. I don't care. That's why I'm saying, like, if you can give a good fight against Steve Clegette, you're world class. You know what I mean? Germain suffered a loss and then put together another win after that. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be adverse to, there's work at 140 pounds with Eye the Tiger. They could literally have a nice tournament going, and it would be some world class fucking boxing.
Are we going to see Ulysses back in Montreal again, or is he going to be DAZN Golden Boy kind of thing?
Well, okay, so he's got a couple fights with DAZN and Golden Boy. Everything I say from here on in is my opinion, and not the opinion of anyone else. So please don't run with it. But in my opinion, his last fight they waited for Golden Boy, and 1 or 2 fights kind of fell through, and he just kept waiting and waiting. And I think part of analyzing his last fight, which he suffered his first. Not his first, but has suffered a loss. A lot of they analyze the situation, and I feel like maybe Camilo Stefan felt like, man, why did I wait for these guys? I knew I should have put them on and kept them working, because he kind of dried off in that weight. You know what I mean? The camp was so fucking long. So that's not the only reason, right? But I do have a feeling that Camilo Stefan wished he would have put him on a card instead of waiting for Golden Boy.
Kind of halted the momentum with that fight. That definitely halted everything.
You know what I mean? But hindsight's 50-50.
Yeah.
So that being said, I think he's not going to have that in the future, even though he still has a few fights left with his Golden Boy contract. I do see Camilo Stefan looking to put him to work as soon as possible, whether it be with them or him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's just going to be more of a question of what they offer and when. You know what I mean? But if not, he'll put him to work. And there's no issue with him fighting in Montreal. It's just, again, just me talking. Nobody's saying anything to me. But I'm assuming you would require a larger setting than the casino. So maybe in March, right? Bell Center. would be a possibility.
All right. Let's wrap this motherfucking thing up. We talked about the card. I want to try to get this podcast out before the event on the 25th. So, Derek, you got some work ahead of you. Manny, do you have anything you want to shout out before we get out of here?
Guys, if you want to watch the event we talked about, obviously punchandgrace.com. Basically the only boxing streaming website on the 49th parallel. I don't know, guys. Hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I am still going to be doing my live boxing talks on Sundays at 10 p.m. on my Facebook. Everyone's welcome to join and shoot comments and say whatever. That being said, I am going to be doing a version of that in French and in Spanish for the foreseeable future. Cuba really put me in touch with my Spanish heritage, so to speak. So I got to bone up, and the best way to do that is to continue speaking it. You know, I don't want to lose it again. So I figure if I talk about the shit I love the most, it's going to just be easy for me, right?
Right.
And there isn't too many people doing it. And the French I was staying away from as a professional courtesy. But I mean, I'm not impressed by any of them. I don't watch the French guys, but when I have, again, I'm not impressed. You know, there's nothing special, and I think the French world can use a little Manny brand in their boxing talk. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing that. So look out for that.
All right, it's this weekend, January 25th. Eye of the Tiger Management will be live on punchandgrace.com. $11 a month. It's billed out $33 quarterly. Go and subscribe. You can watch all of the Eye of the Tiger Management fights on there. Sunday nights, Manny Montreal on Facebook goes live, talking boxing with Manny Montreal. You can't hit subscribe, but on YouTube you can, so go check him out on his YouTube channel because they all get posted there too. Guys, that's the final shot.